we exist. So what do we do? Our company name is Sourcing Investments. We've been established for 5 years now, so we are not just a startup. Ultimately, we have a global returns environment which is low. This therefore means that anybody from Hong Kong, Singapore, Europe, and the UK, the typical sort of saving rates at the moment are well below 2%, and they are all seeking, whether they be individuals or hedge funds or anything in between, there is a global returns environment and money is seeking returns. The UK, we are all sat here in the UK, or predominantly, I'm guessing most of the people on the call, we are in an environment here, in an industry, in a marketplace, which is actually second to none. For us to be able to sit here and say, I will not get out of bed for a typical 8%, 10% gross yield on a buy-to-let, this is something that everybody in Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, and many, many other countries around the world do not have. Their markets are genuinely negatively geared, which means that it costs to hold investment property, and their hope is that the capital growth will exceed the cost of holding it. And so when we talk about UK and why the UK is a very special environment, it's very simple. It's very simple to the extent of we have a massive demand for housing, 68 million people on a small island, and a housing shortage that has lasted since the Second World War. So that is why we typically have a strong yield and even positive yield in environments such as Zone 1, Zone 2 in London, which is not replicated in many, many other countries around the world. And that is why you are here in the UK, and that is why you can take advantage of it. For investors, finding quality deals and trusted, decent people is painful. There is no place to go specifically for that. Sourcing as a business, if it's done by an individual, can be very, very inefficient. And it is very labor intensive, and we will get more into that. My old consultancy diagrams, etc., will help simplify and help you understand what that actually means. There is a lack of industry regulation. There are some regulation that has to be adhered to, being a sourcing agent, of which I hope most people on the call will know. This is simply around HMRC, to do with anti-money laundering. It is to do with the Information Commission, which is the ICO certification, being a member of the PRS or the Property Ombudsman, and having your own professional indemnity insurance. Of which, by the way, most people go and buy professional indemnity insurance from professionalindemnity.com, cheap, and I will tell you now that that does not cover you as a sourcer, and we will get into that as to we have actually solved that problem with the insurance industry. And again, who to trust? Sourcers, working with what we use the term tire kickers and wasting a lot of time and energy, and investors of sourcers on the ground of will they do what they say? And there's real complexities of delivering professional results, which go from everything from actually finding the deal, analysing the deal, being responsible for what you state is available and what percentage. And by the way, one thing that all sourcers should not ever do is quote ROI to anybody. If you get into those realms, you then come under professional advice, which is FCA regulated, and that is where you can come under a very close, watchful eye, and there can be from some very serious repercussions from it. So that is why we exist today, and the good news about it all, we've solved it.